Is Gane dirtiest fight we have currently in the UFC? This is what we'll be discussing today. Post UFC 250 Freedom event where Gane beat Pereira. Obviously, many complaints from Pereira and other fighters, and even now Dana White coming out saying, look, clear back of the head strikes post that fight, and the controversy surrounding Gane previously. We're going to look at this and see, is Gane just unlucky? Is he just, as the Pereira fight, is it just the heat of the moment where Pereira's trying to get out of it and it's unlucky strikes to the back of the head, unlucky illegal striking, or is it something more? And getting straight into this, obviously, Gane's, people are talking about this now. Gane has not been out of the world of illegal striking since really near the start of his UFC career. It's been happening for a while. So, he had his fight against Junior Dos Santos, where he obviously threw a low blow in December 2020, kicking Dos Santos in the groin, leading to a brief stoppage in round one. Obviously, in 2023 against John Jones for the vacant title. At that point, Gane, very first strike of the fight, was a low blow that paused the action immediately. So, straight off the bell, groin strike to John Jones, which stopped the action. You've then had, obviously, the massive one that everyone really talks about is the eye poke of Tom Aspinall. Looking at that, how long Tom Aspinall's now been out because of the eye poke, and it's massively damaging. Surgeries, multiple surgeries have happened for the eye poke and the damage that was caused, and how badly that damaged Tom, and looking at the replays, how bad of an eye poke it was. And also, this is, the fact is, this has happened multiple times for Gane in his career. The hands are always extended, the fingers are always extended out, and it, it's illegal to do so. And now he's caught Tom Aspinall, massively damaged him, but he's definitely been pouring at the eyes with his fingers extended. Even in the Pereira fight, you could see it. The fingers were extended near his face, which, in fact, just causes you to be a bit more defensive. What's happened to Tom Aspinall. That ruins careers. It ruins careers, and we don't know if Tom's actually going to come back and what he's going to look like post that. John Jones, definitely fingers extended, and Tuivasa even. If you look at that fight, fingers extended, 100% fingers extended, looking towards the face, going towards the face, pouring at the face, and nearly getting eye pokes off. And it's used as a deterrent. That's the key. It's used as a deterrent. And, saying about the John Jones fight where, look, talking about eye pokes with John Jones is a bit, backwards, because he's doing exactly the same thing. But the fact is, it's used as a deterrent. As you're backing away from an exchange, you keep your fingers extended out towards the eyes to stop people coming in and following you when you need a break. You need to get out of this. You've missed a shot. You can put your fingers out, and it sort of, makes people just go, okay, no, I can't move in. And it's totally illegal. And it's one of the things that I think should be massively policed a lot more than it is currently in the UFC. The fact you've got your fingers extended, look, warning, and then points straight off you need to get rid of it, because Tom Aspinall's situation, many other situations, you get poked in the eye, it's very, very difficult to fully recover from, and it's changing the fight. If a fighter needs a break, I poke you in the eye, I get a 2-minute break or something, because it's not quick to recover from, even if it's just a light eye poke. So look, it needs to be policed massively more by the UFC. But going in to just the Gane situation, do I think he's the dirtiest fighter we currently have on the UFC roster? He's up there, 100%. He's looking at any advantage he can get. Fingers extended, eye pokes able. The fact is that, people say it's just his style. No, it's not. The fact is, the fingers are massively extended. It's, in a sense, John Jones. It's the fingers extended, openly trying to pour at the eyes. And the Tom Aspinall situation just showed exactly what can happen if he wants to go for if the fingers are extended and they connect. And that is exactly what happens. Needs to be policed massively more. The back of the head strikes from Pereira. I know Dana said in the heat of the moment, the movement and stuff. Rewatch the bit where the actual head strike, the back of the head strikes happen. you can see there's hardly any movement from Pereira side to side. There's not much at all. Especially, look, you can count for a couple of shots where you're all moving around trying to get into it, get shots off. What I can't understand is the repeated, unanswered back of the head shots, and the referee's just standing there doing nothing. Don't get it at all. Should have been stopped straight away. He said, look, back of the head strikes, a warning for 100%. It was multiple in a row. It's not like you fired off 2 shots and they've accidentally hit him in the back of the head because he's moved. The fact is, it was multiple back of the head strikes where, at least for half of them, or I would say 3/4 of them, Pereira is not moving position and he's just getting hit in the back of the head. The referee is there watching it happen, which is mental. And I think, look, fighters shouldn't be treated any differently, but the referee should be having in their mind and speaking to the fighters before any fight with Gane, and Gane in mind, going to both. It can be done to both fighters. Happy to that happen, but Gane, you cannot be putting your fingers out. I'm going to take points off. You cannot be striking to the back head. I'm going to take points off. Groin strikes, I'm taking points off. I am going to be severely harsh. And yeah, that it has to go through the right process. So there's a warning, then there's a point off. But honestly, I'm going for warnings off the bat as soon as I can. If you've got your fingers extended anywhere near the face, you're doing strikes to the groin, straight away warning. Everything is straight away. There is no double warnings. There's a warning and then there's points for any infringement. Eye poke and then a groin strike or whatever, you're pouring towards the face with the fingers out. That's what needs to happen, because the fact is, it's causing such a controversy around him and the heavyweight division at current, where you've got a heavyweight champion out because he's been eye poked by the fighter. You then got the fighter doing back of the head strikes, which at the start of this video I'm going to put up just the Tom Aspinall eye poke and the Pereira back of the head strikes. I think for context, so you can see how devastating it is for both of them strikes. And that's in his last 2 fights. Look, he's been doing this for, things have been happening, different things have been happening for a while. But look, it might be his style and things like that, where, he's hitting to the groin. Yeah, fair enough, that can sometimes happen. But the multiple happenings of it, the eye pokes, you've done Tom Aspinall like that. Your finger, John Jones, you're pouring at his eyes. Tuivasa, you're pouring at his eyes, and then Tom Aspinall's situation happens. Back of the head strikes, multiple. I mean, I'm talking. I'll count them after this, but it's got to be 7 or 8 strikes to the back head, all in one after another. 7 or 8 strikes to the back of the head. It's incredible. The referee did not get involved, and I think the referees honestly need to go. I know the fighters. I can have the same rule for both fighters in a fight with Gane. If the Pereira fighting Gane, I go, Pereira, look, again, if I'm being harsh on Gane, I've got to be harsh on you. It's a warning them points. We're totally fine with. But you've got to stop the illegal strikes having such an impact on fights. Tom Aspinall stopped the fight. He's now been out for a year, and we don't know when he's going to come back. It might be the end of this year, could not be. He's not even in camp yet, so we don't even know how well he's coped with the injury. Pereira, the back of the head strikes, clearly he was already damaged, fair enough, but he was not down and out. He was trying to protect himself, so he gets 7 or 8 unanswered back of the head strikes in a row, and no wonder he is annoyed after, he felt it, but after watching it as well, 100% he should be complaining, and the referees need to take action and need to hold Gane accountable more in them fights for his actions. Points need to be deducted. Look, anything to do with eye pokes now after what happened to Tom Aspinall needs to be harshly punished. Any extension of the fingers towards the eyes needs to be harshly punished. Let me know what I do think. Look, to be honest, in the roster and current form, if you could call it, 100% is one of the dirtiest fighters, and you have to be careful fighting, and the referees need to take notes of that. But look, the fact is, the signs have been there for a long time. That's the fact of it, that he has been trying to eye poke. The groin shots are I think one of the funniest ones, and I'll probably put this at the start of the video as well, is the John Jones one. Straight off the bat, kicks him in the groin. And it's like, I get it in an exchange where you're throwing in sort of, he's moving and
he's getting very active now that he knows
strikes with your
he
hands,
can land these strikes.
you jab straight and then you throw a kick, and it's sort of the guy's moving as you've already thought what combo you want to do, and sort of the last one is the one that has to move most to connect to the target that's moving, if you get what I mean, from what you thought originally in your mind. I get that more, but the fact that it's like literally the first strike of the fight, you throw a groin strike which is mental, and it just shows that he needs to be held accountable more in his fights. I think I actually honestly think the Pereira one is actually worse than the Tom Aspinall one. I think, look, Gane can always say, look, it wasn't, if you look at slow-mo replay, you can tell how bad it was. It wasn't just like I accidentally caught him. I literally like straight into his eyes and clawed his eyes. But the Pereira one really shows like that should have been. The referee can't stop a knife, can't really stop an eye poke once it's in motion. Do you know what I mean? If it's already it happens straight away, bang, and it's literally a second. You can't. There's no way for a referee to get away unless he sees the fingers are extended. You've got to stop doing that earlier. The fact is, the back of the head strike should have been stopped by the referee. There should have been a big warning. There should have been a stoppage to allow Pereira to recover in some way. I'm not saying that because I like Pereira and I do, and I wanted him to win, of course. Do I think Pereira would have won? No. I think he would have lost because he was out. He was out by the bigger guy at heavyweight, and Gane is clearly a heavyweight rather than Pereira trying to go up to heavyweight, which he didn't really have enough in that place. He doesn't fit that size. But I do think there needs to be a clear-cut talk with referees, talk with the UFC, going, look, firstly, we're going to stop these eye pokes because we've had a severe problem now, which is really damaging our value in the UFC. How much money we can generate is clearly damaged by Tom Aspinall being out for so long. But also, Gane has to be looked at and go, look, guys, refs, we've got to start looking at this a lot more. And 100% you can't single one person out. But look, we've got to be. There has to be a thing of being more on it with stuff like back of the head strikes, consecutive back of the head strikes, eye pokes or extension of fingers. We have to clear this up because it's causing too many controversies post-fights, and especially in Gane fights. Where he's now heavyweight champion, and in 2 fights where to fight the champion, and he's actually won the championship, he's had 2 controversies, which I do believe should mean he's, in a sense, the fight shouldn't have ended how it did. Tom Aspinall shouldn't have ended how it did, where it ends in a no contest. And also the Pereira fight, it ended very close after them back of the head strikes. Problem to go, there's a controversy with how it ended because Pereira come back. I don't believe he could have, and that's not what I'm saying, but it creates this noise around him, and not that he's the best in the world at heavyweight. He's a dirty striking to get there, and I think that's really wrong, and I think that's why he needs to be fairly managed, and we need to be definitely more on it with any fights that Gane's involved with. That, look, there is a key rhetoric that we need to stop the controversy. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.